Welcome to the NBA Triple Double Show powered by SportsMemo. This is episode 2 of season 2. If you missed our first show on Friday, we covered some of our favorite futures bets of the season. We talked conference winners, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man, and Defensive Player of the Year award. So if you didn't catch that, make sure you go back and check out the SportsMemo YouTube channel to check out all the plays that we had. Talked a lot of value bets and some favorites as well. So that was a good episode to start off the season with. Today, we're going to break down two games that tip off tomorrow. 76ers visit the Celtics. Lakers visit the Warriors. To break down the games with me today, we got Moneyline Matt. Matt, 1 day left into to start the season, man. How we feeling today?
Dude, I'm pumped. I'm really excited to kick off this NBA season. I think every single year, more stars are coming to this league. There's getting more and more excitement around teams, around players specifically. And I'm just ready to see what happens this season. You know, we got some really young, exciting talent, the Ja Morants, the Anthony Edwards, guys like Cade Cunningham, some good rookies coming in the league. I'm pumped to just break it down with you.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel the same way. Before we get into the first game, though, I do want to talk about some promos here at sportsmemo.com. 7-day NBA package for only $49. That's actually available both at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. There's no promo code needed for that deal. That's $7 a day. That's going to be valid through Sunday the 23rd. No limit of number of handicappers you can get this deal for. Just head over to your favorite capper's homepage and grab the deal there. Another promo on the site as well, on sportsmemo.com, I believe. Take $100 off any Capper's NBA season package, the full season package, and the promo code for that one is NBA 100. That's $100 off any NBA Cappers season package there. Those are the two promo codes available. So head over to the site after the show. With that said, man, game one, we got the 76ers visiting the Boston Celtics. They've had an eventful few months, and you're coming off an NBA Finals appearance, have the lead 2-1. Then that was it for the Celtics. Warriors ended up winning the Finals 4-2. Then they had the Udoka suspension. Now they got Joe Mazzulla as their head coach. He's actually been with the organization since 2019 as an assistant. So to me, I feel like there's not going to be that much of a familiarity gap, right? They know who this guy is. It's just a matter of what kind of small adjustments he's gonna make to the offense here. Going through the current injury report, Sixers are starting out the season completely healthy. On the Celtics side, Robert Williams and Gallinari out, Brogdon and Smart a little banged up. I don't expect them to be missing this game though, but you know how it is with the NBA. We're gonna see the injury reports coming out like an hour and a half before the game. Matt, and what are your thoughts on this first game? Are you looking at a side total, maybe some player props? What do you got going on?
Yeah, so for this game in particular, I'm definitely taking a look at the Philadelphia 76ers, and I definitely have a player point prop that I'm going to point out as we go on top of that. You know, when looking at this team, you know, I think when I first dove into this game, immediately you're like, okay, you know, Boston Celtics, Eastern Conference champions, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, very good defensively. But then you peel that onion back a little bit and you kind of realize, you know, this team let Daniel Tice walk this offseason. You know, Robert Williams, potential defensive player of the year, out till around February. That's a huge, huge miss for this team on top of that. And it creates a lot of slides in terms of positions as well. You know, now this team is going to have Jason Tatum at the 4 position, and they're going to slide Al Horford to that 5 position. You know, a position that he's very experienced with and has been in before, but now you're going against Joel Embiid, potentially the most talented center in all of basketball, a center that can stretch the floor. And, you know, Al Horford, although he's been successful and he's been a guy that you can count on, you know, you don't really expect him to be the key defender guarding Joel Embiid. You know, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble with that. And then in addition to that, this is a Boston Celtics team that does like to switch from time to time. They're not going to be able to switch at all in terms of Joel Embiid throughout this game. And now when I go over to these, actually, one more thing. You know, when looking at that Boston Celtics bench, on top of that, Blake Griffin is that number 2-5. You know, so again, they're just going to struggle against this Boston Celtics team and struggle until Robert Williams comes back against teams that have bigs. Then when looking at this Philadelphia 76ers team, again, PJ Tucker, not the biggest plug-in on terms of offense, but he's a very nice plug-in in terms of defense. And against this Boston Celtics team, they match up very well now. PJ Tucker can guard either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. You have Tobias Harris as well, who can guard Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And then you have Joel Embiid to lock down that middle. Yes, Al Horford is somewhat a stretch five, but, if he's not making those shots, then, Joel Embiid could take a couple steps in a little closer. And because of this, I'm going to side with the Philadelphia 76ers here to get that upset win in game one of the NBA season. But another area that I'm going to look at here is Joel Embiid over 27.5 total points. He averaged over 30 points last year. He's hit this at a 50% rate in the past 10 games against the Boston Celtics. 2 of those games, he didn't get full run in terms of minutes, which could have been injury, could have been blowout, something along those lines. And then also in the past, you're facing a much more difficult Boston Celtics team with guys like, Robert Williams and Daniel Tice. Then you have Al Horford at that 4 position. So you're much bigger in years past. So now going against this Boston Celtics team, I think Joel Embiid has a lot better of a chance to hit this over 27.5 points. He is their guy. He can stretch the floor as well. Tyrese Maxey going to take that step forward, penetrate the middle, and potentially kick out. So here I like the Philadelphia 76ers money line, and then I also like Joel Embiid over 27.5 total points.
Yeah, amazing breakdown right there. I mean, you talked about the importance of Robert Williams and how he kind of affects the whole team in general, right? Like the whole shift of all positions, and moving Tatum to that power forward position is going to be pretty tough. And then Al Horford, we talked about Al Horford I talked about him on Friday and talked about how he's another year older. He's not going to be, to me, at this age, there was already a steep decline from the prior year. But to be able to perform the way he did in the playoffs last season, he's really going to, hopefully he had a great offseason. But to me, I think there's going to be probably another steep decline, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously he's going to be able to get his shot off with all the guards, being able to make play make for him, being that stretch center. But the depth is gone without Robert Williams there. You mentioned Blake Griffin as well, being that second 5 that comes off the bench. He's not really a 5, guys. To me, a lot of things, things that I heard during this offseason is how this offseason off-court issues for the Celtics is going to affect the squad. I don't really think it's going to. I mentioned earlier how Mazzulla has been with the organization already for 3 years. So there's going to be some familiarity with him. To me, I think the biggest problem here is Robert Williams. Just like you mentioned, he changes the dynamic of this lineup, especially on the defensive side of the ball. As great as it was for Marcus Smart to win that Defensive Player of the Year award, it really does take someone like Robert Williams to be there behind you to protect the paint. It gives Marcus Smart the ability to play physical and take the risk to trust that he's going to be Robert Williams is going to be back there and protect the paint for him. So he's a big part of why Smart actually won that Defensive Player of the Year award. With him not in the lineup, tomorrow we already talked about how Embiid is going to be on the other side of the floor. He's going to be tough to stop, especially with Horford by himself as pretty much mainly the lone 5, the lone true 5, to be able to have that experience in that position. And if he gets in foul trouble, who are you going to have guarding Embiid? It's going to be a problem for them. If you watch the Future show, I already talked about how I like the Sixers to win the East. It has to do with their depth and the emergence of Maxey. They also brought in some capable role players, D'Anthony Melton, Shake Milton, PJ Tucker. Even Harrell's going to play a significant role off the bench as a low post scoring player. I also think Embiid, he's going to put up another MVP caliber season. Harden's going to look more comfortable in this year, in the offense this year as well, with some experience. And you could see during the preseason, he looked less passive. So that's going to be a good thing for Philly as well. Without Williams, we talked about is so important. Boston is going to be forced to play small ball for the most part and push the pace. Philly has a roster to play both ways. They can play slow or fast with the depth that they have. I can see this game specifically being a high-scoring game through 3 quarters, than maybe expecting a slower pace in the fourth quarter while Philly tries to play some bully ball with Embiid in the post. I think to talk about the importance of Robert Williams again, even just a little bit more. If we look at last season, the Boston Celtics offensive rating with Robert Williams was 114.8. Without him, it was 116.6. So the offensive efficiency went a little bit higher. But if we look at the defensive side, the defensive rating with him was 107 compared to 109.8. So there was a little bit of a gap between offense and defense, and without him, their net rating is a little bit worse. If you look at trends from last season as well, without Robert Williams in the lineup, Celtics 13-15 against the spread and 17-11 to the over without Robert Williams. If you add that they were the home favorite in the situation, 5-11 against the spread, 10-6 to the over. A lot of things to me are pointing towards Philly and to the over in this game. Those are the only ways that I could look for this game one. Anything else on that game, Matt?
Yeah, one last thing that I wanted to add there is without Robert Williams and his rebound ability, I think going forward, you might be able to check out 1, Jaylen Brown, and 2, Jason Tatum rebounding props. This is going to be a team rebounding for the Celtics kind of going forward until Robert Williams comes back. And the markets might be a little lower and have to correct itself within the first couple weeks. So I think there might be a little bit of opportunity. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, both very good rebounding forward, shooting guards, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, that's a good look on the prop side. So this second game here, the Lakers visiting the Warriors, probably the two of the most talked about teams in the last couple of weeks, and they weren't for good reasons. Warriors had Draymond and Jordan Poole, that whole fiasco. Then the Lakers going 1-5 in the preseason. Obviously, a lot of talk about Russell Westbrook and his position there and his role. The last game, I think I didn't get to watch that game, but I know they were trying to pull him off of the bench, and then he ended up getting injured. So that's something that I think a lot of people who are Lakers fan wanted to see. They wanted to see Westbrook see how that goes with him coming off of the bench, but you didn't really get a chance to do it because of the injury. And speaking of injury report, Iguodala is the only guy out for the Warriors. Moody and Green are considered day-to-day. JaMychal Green, I think they should be good to go, though. On the Lakers side, Troy Brown Jr. is out. Schroeder and Westbrook are considered day-to-day. We'll probably hear about their status towards the end, towards tip-off tomorrow. Matt, this is actually a pretty, to me, kind of crazy game to think about from all aspects, right? From just like off-season news, and then within the roster, how that makeup is going to happen. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so for me, I'm with you on this Lakers and Golden State game. It's a tough one to kind of gauge, and the Lakers in particular are going to be a team that I need to see. I have to watch them a couple times before kind of judging what way I'm going to lean with them, if I'm going to ever take their points or, with the Warriors, take their points, something along those lines. Because for one, you look at this team's makeup once again, and they didn't do enough in my eyes to change the dynamic of this team. They still have Russell Westbrook. Yes, they added Patrick Beverley, who's, he's a grit and grind type guy. He's a solid defender, but he's not exactly like, he can make some threes, but I wouldn't consider him a spot up shooter or anything like that. Lonnie Walker Jr., he is a nice addition. I think he's someone who is somewhat slept on. He's a guy, he's kind of a spark plug. There are those games where, he can just absolutely go off. He is a guy from time to time. He can get you 25. He can get you 30. And then, of course, you have LeBron at the 4, and then you have Anthony Davis at the 5. Again, though, you look at this Lakers bench, and it's not that great. It's Dennis Schroeder, who's been kind of passed around over the past couple of years. Kendrick Nunn, who had injury issues last year, who is a nice guard. I am interested to see what he can do this season. Then you have Austin Reeves, Juan Toscano-Anderson, and Damian Jones. When comparing that team to that of the Golden State Warriors, the Golden State Warriors are far superior in terms of all aspects, with Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Wiseman is coming back. You got Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench. You have Moses Moody coming off the bench. They have Dante DiVincenzo. This is a very good team. Once again, they have great depth. Once again, they have the veteran experience of Andre Iguodala, who I believe you said is injured this game. But regardless, I'm not picking a spread here in this game. A lot of this still does have to do with what occurred with Draymond Green. Like, I need to see, this is another team. I need to see this team play. Is there something going on because of Draymond? Are they going to have the chemistry that they typically have? Me personally, I got off the Warriors' future because of what happened with Draymond Green. I do worry down the road, if adversity comes again, how is this team going to react? It already happened once with Draymond and Kevin Durant. So again, when looking at this game and these two teams, these are two teams that I just need to see play a couple games, or at least one. On paper, the Golden State Warriors is far superior, but one area that Golden State has struggled in the past has been against guys like Anthony Davis, stretch fours, 7-foot centers or 7-foot power forwards, because I'm not exactly sure, one, how many minutes James Wiseman is going to get, and two, how is he going to play? So again, typically I would side with the Warriors here. I feel like this is a far superior team, more talented, more depth, more spark plugs, more star power just in general. But I will give you a prop here. And one prop that I do like is Anthony Davis over 8.5 rebounds. I feel like that's pretty low. He averaged just it was 9.9 rebounds last year. And again, an area that this Warriors team has struggled in the past has been against big bodies like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is running the 5 now. LeBron James is running the 4. And then after that, it's Lonnie Walker, Pat Bev, and Russell Westbrook. So again, he's going to have plenty of rebound opportunities, more rebound opportunities per minute, because the Golden State Warriors like to run fast. Yes, they do make more shots, but early on, first game of the season, there could be some preseason jitters once again. So more rebounds could go to Anthony Davis because of that. So I'll take the Anthony Davis over 8.5 rebounds here.
Yeah, that's a good look right there with the rebounds. You obviously you already know, as far as offense goes, right? It's gonna be LeBron and Anthony Davis for the most part. Then you're gonna have Lonnie Walker on the side shooting the three ball. And I actually I don't do props as much as other folks do, but Lonnie Walker I think will probably be like a underrated 3-point shooter for the squad. Maybe take his 3-point props early in the season before the books adjust.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my look, because you got Westbrook and Patrick Beverly there at the point guard and shooting guard position, and those guys are going to be probably passive when it comes to shooting the three. And that would leave Lonnie Walker and Anthony Davis and LeBron pretty much the main scorers there.
Yep.
The other thing too, we talked about this game. Really, to me, I think the line is probably where it should be at this point. I think Golden State should win this game. We talked about continuity for the Golden State Warriors versus the Lakers. There are there is some continuity with the Lakers, but that's actually not that good of a thing, right? Because they were terrible. And I think, to me, they're lacking. They're continuing to lack depth, and that's what their problem was last season. I don't think, like you said, I don't think they brought in the right players to come in and play the specific roles that they needed to improve the squad. On the Golden State side, they didn't really have to do much because they already had it, right? They had the continuity, they had the depth. They just needed some guys to get healthy, and now we got Wiseman he's healthy now. And Kuminga is going to come off the bench, and he looked like he stepped it up, especially during this preseason. Jordan Poole, he got his contract. He's going to do his thing as a sixth man. And then you got guys like DiVincenzo and even Moody, who's going to be able to produce here. This team is just stacked from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And Klay Thompson, he's been able to get games under his belt. I feel like hopefully this whole injury and the psychology behind coming back from an injury like that is probably over with. So we're gonna see him hopefully improve a little bit as well. The only way that I could look for this game is towards the Golden State Warriors. I would probably stay away from the total here, but definitely on the side, the Golden State Warriors would be the only way that I could look. And maybe a look towards that Lonnie Walker threes. That's the way that as far as props goes. Man, that's 2 games. Broke down 2 games. My God, it just feels good to talk NBA again.
It really does, man. And I like your Lonnie Walker look a lot because, again, he is someone that's very slept on. He's he's a spark plug guy. Once he sees one go in, he's another one of those guys where some nights he can be like, look out.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree. That is it. 2 games. Do you want to talk about some of the plays that you discussed during the show today?
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
so the 76ers and Boston Celtics game is an official play for me over at SportsMemo. So if you'd like to check that out, feel free. But a player prop that I have there is Joel Embiid over 27.5 points. Really like that. He averaged over 30 points per game last year. To Ron's point, I think he's going to make a serious MVP run once again. Yes, Tyrese Maxey will take that step forward and probably take some more shots, stuff like that. But that also means more attention. That also means more penetration and potentially dishing to Joel Embiid. It's a huge mismatch going against Al Horford. So I really do, and Blake Griffin if he comes off the bench too. So I really do like that one. And then to your point again with the Lakers and Golden State Warriors, if I'm going anywhere, it's definitely with the Golden State Warriors there. But I do like Anthony Davis rebounds. Anytime I can get Anthony Davis at 8.5 rebounds, I will take that because eventually they're going to prop it up to 9.5.
Love it. And the way that I was looking, I see Bill McDonald missed the first game breakdown. Real quick, the way that I was looking was the Sixers and the over as well. So agree with you, Bill McDonald, on those plays there. And then on the second game, the only way that I could look is towards the Warriors. And I haven't seen what the number is for Lonnie Walker threes, but I could say maybe if it was like a 1.5 or 2, maybe even 2.5, I could say in this game specifically, a high paced game, there's going to be threes attempted, and Lonnie Walker is probably going to get like 6 or 7 attempts, in my opinion, the way that this is going to go. So I can definitely see him hitting over 1.5, even if it's 2.5, maybe at plus money in that spot.
That's what I was thinking too. I just checked FanDuel, and FanDuel didn't have it. So you might want to check some other sports books. And honestly, they might not have it because FanDuel has been trying to protect themselves a little more from guys like that who are literally like, hey, he might hit 5. And then what do we, is that plus?
Yeah, what do you do?
What is that? So that's one thing FanDuel has been trying to do is they've been trying to protect themselves from those big plays. So you'll notice this year, like with same game parlays, you can still do some really cool stuff and create some crazy odds, but they have revoked some of that because it's kind of nipped them in the butt in the past.
Oh man, that's good to know. Nice add to that. But that's it. Our next show is on Wednesday. We'll break down the Wednesday slate. With that said, good luck everybody on the first day tomorrow of the NBA season. We'll see you on Wednesday. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.